Congratulations, you've made it to the execution portion of the curriculum, the part I promised would be the easiest. And here's why. When we talk about a company's success or failure, it often comes down to execution. Did they advertise in the right places? Did their message resonate with customers? Before the internet, these challenges could make or break a business. But here's the beauty of selling on eBay. The guesswork is taken out of the equation. Your product is the hero. You've sourced it, you've developed it, and now you just need to put it on eBay. But just listing your product isn't enough. You need to optimize it to get in front of the right customers and track its performance to make sure it's thriving. Today, we're going to break down the key steps you need to master, so your listing isn't just another product on eBay, but a high-performing asset that attracts attention and converts like a pro. Let's dive in and make sure you're set up for success.
So before we begin, I'd like to say that over time, as you progress in your business, in order to refine your offering and make it better and better, it's really mostly about improving your product. So what we could do as far as the execution portion of the business is just work on optimizing the listings. And in order to do that, the best way is to understand exactly how listings work and all of its key components. And we're going to do that right now. So when it comes to listings, it is very much the same concept as building websites. There is a front end and a back end. Front end means what you get to see. Back end is things that you don't get to see. So ultimately, eBay is not something that we own or control. So you're not going to see the back end. What you are going to see is just the front end stuff. And the front end is everything as a user that you're able to control. So what we have over here is the titles, item specifics, photos, the price, and then the description. So what I want to say is that everything right now is ordered by priority of most relevant to least relevant when it comes to how it affects the search engine. So let's start off over here. As far as the titles goes, your title is the first thing that potential buyers are going to see. So therefore, it needs to be concise, keyword rich, and relevant to what people are searching for. A strong title directly impacts your listing's visibility and search results and encourages clicks. The next is the item specifics. And these are details that the eBay algorithm uses to categorize and rank your listings. So brand, model, size, color, and other specifics not only improve the search visibility, but also help customers to find exactly what they're looking for. The next is photos. High quality images build trust and attract buyers. So the eBay algorithm favors listings that are clear, well lit, and have multiple angles of the product. So great visuals reduce the buyer's hesitation and increases the click-through rates. So I want to also explain that the eBay algorithm doesn't actually see the photos for what it is. All it does is scan over the photos to make sure that the pixel resolution is high enough and they are clean, clear photos. So it's basically kind of like a pass or no pass. The next key component is the price. So competitive pricing is crucial. Your price influences where your listings appear in search results and whether buyers see it as a good deal or not. So factor in the perceived value. It's not just about being the cheapest. Now, there is also a caveat in here, which is your shipping strategy. Offering free shipping can significantly improve your click-through rate. eBay generally wants people to have very fast turnovers and free shipping because then it'll move you into the top rated plus once your account is top rated. So eBay highlights listings with free shipping or top rated plus badges, making them more attractive in search results. While this ties into pricing strategy, it directly affects whether a buyer clicks on your listing or not. So these four in the beginning, right, are things that is going to inspire your customers whether or not to even click on your listing. And that's why the description is the last one. See, while descriptions are important, they only matter after a potential buyer has clicked on your listing. So think of it as your post-click sales pitch, right? So a clear, detailed description can seal the deal, but it won't help if no one clicks in the first place. And that's why the title is all the way at the top, followed by the item specifics, and then photos, etc., etc. You see what I mean? So in summary, focusing on optimizing your title, item specifics, photos, and price, these are your pre-click factors that get people to your listing. The description comes into play after the click, helping to convert views into sales. So shipping strategy, while it is tied to the pricing, it can be a powerful tool to improve click-through rates and should be considered when setting your prices. So here we're at a more zoomed out version of the key components of every single eBay listing that we put up. So assuming over here that on the front end, we have optimized the titles, the item specifics, the photos, the pricing, and the description to the best of our abilities, we should start to get a lot of views on our listing. So on the back end over here, there is 4 key components, which is the click-through rates, the watchers, conversion rate, and the sales history. So let me explain each one. The click-through rate just means how many people have clicked on your listing to see what's going on with the description and to learn more about your listing. The watchers are people who have saved it to kind of like a watch/wish list type of deal. Now, as far as the conversion rate and the sales history, there's a slight nuance between the two. Conversion rate means how many items that you sold over a period of time, say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And the sales history is just how many items you've sold for the duration of this whole listing. So here is an infographic of the performance pyramid of every single listing that goes through eBay and what happens. When we initially put out a listing, it's going to go through an initial scan and propagation period. What that means is this. Once we submit our listing, it doesn't go into the search engine immediately. What happens is that eBay itself has to scan over and look over the item to make sure that it is policy compliant. There's no firearms, no nudity, no tobacco, drugs, things like that. And then after it goes through this, there is a propagation period, which means that even though you have the direct link and you could see this item from your backend, or if you gave the link to someone else, they could see that your listing is live, but that doesn't mean that your item is currently searchable through the search engine just yet. But after usually something like 12 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, it's going to go into the catalog. So once it's in the catalog, the first thing that's going to happen is that it goes into the first tier, which is the newest entries that doesn't actually have any sales history. And your listing is going to be competing with other listings that are somewhere around this area. So as we start to develop more sales, the listing itself will start to build more traction. So what I have over here is the idea of click-through rates, watchers, conversion history, and sales history. So let's say that we start getting some sales. And when that happens, our data is going to start looking like this into our history. And as we collect more and more, eBay is going to see that we have a track record of sales history here. And it's going to start ranking us up from the yellow into the orange into the red until it becomes a top performing listing. When your listing goes from yellow to orange to red, it's going to rank above other listings that come up in a similar search. So basically, if you're trying to use promoted listings, the best idea is to use promoted listings to help you get an early boost from your gray areas, your yellow areas, all the way into the orange and then possibly into the red. Normally, if you're promoting an item in this business model, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to quickly nurture your listing from A to B because it's brand new, but you're already certain that your item is going to resonate very well with the general public. So therefore, all you're doing is trying to go from the gray into the red more quickly than if you had let it try to get there organically. So in order to succeed on eBay, you have to understand exactly how eBay works because ultimately it's not a charity, it is a business and it thrives by making money. The question is, how does it make money? And the answer to that is conversions. So therefore, the website is always going to prioritize conversions first. This is the foundation of the algorithm prioritizing high converting listings in order to maximize profits.
The way search results appear depends on each customer's search query. When a buyer searches, eBay's algorithm reorganizes the catalog to display listings that best match their intent. eBay's search engine works on 2 levels. Front-end settings. These determine how listings are ranked. eBay doesn't promote listings randomly. Instead, it prioritizes relevance based on customer behavior. Click-through rate and engagement play a major role in deciding which listings appear in search results. This is the first priority. If a listing doesn't attract engagement, it may not show up at all. Back-end performance. This includes conversion rates and sales history. eBay evaluates how well a listing performs over time. Strong conversion rates indicate a high-value listing, making it more likely to appear in search results for relevant buyers. While creating a listing on eBay is free, visibility isn't. To gain traction, listings need a solid history of click-throughs and conversions. Without this, the algorithm won't prioritize your listing for exposure. Key point: eBay does not actively punish listings. If a listing gets less visibility, it's because the front-end settings aren't aligning with customer search behavior, or it lacks a decent track record of engagement and conversions. The algorithm doesn't hide listings. It simply prioritizes those that perform well. Why does eBay's algorithm work this way? More satisfied customers, more traffic, more sellers, more buyers, platform growth. Poor customer interaction, fewer shoppers, fewer sellers, platform decline. eBay thrives on organic growth. The algorithm ensures that growth continues without interference from manipulation. It avoids disrupting the natural flow.
Now that we have a better understanding of exactly how the eBay algorithm works, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about keyword relevance and search intent over here. So search results are driven by language. The way buyers phrase their queries, you need to match the terms that people are using, because ultimately it doesn't matter what you're trying to sell. It's going to be within the confines of the English language, because if you take an example such as wireless earbuds, how many ways can you list the words wireless earbuds? They have to be in the title. So what's going to happen is wireless earbuds versus white wireless earbuds versus wireless 8-hour earbuds. So it's going to change up the results based on the brand and other descriptors. So here I'm going to run a small simulation. Let's say we have our own eBay, right? And we're not selling anything except for wireless earbuds. Now I have 10 wireless earbuds in my base catalog. And these are just some examples that we just made up. We made up some brand names, we made up some features, we made up some colors, but they're all essentially selling wireless earbuds. So when we scroll down over here, let's say our customer goes ahead and puts into the search query Soundwave wireless earbuds. So now we're filtering out by just the brand. You're going to get these two results, while the other 8 out of the catalog will be omitted. When we go ahead and then do a new search query of waterproof wireless earbuds, well, only the AquaSound one is going to have the waterproof technology into it. So you can see exactly what I'm trying to create over here of what happens with the base catalog is that the customer doesn't see that at first when he first comes onto the eBay website. All he has is the search bar. And whatever you put in is whatever is going to be shown, but reorganized in a way based on your search query. So as we go down, if you search for black wireless earbuds, then you would just get these 4 results. If you search with long battery life wireless earbuds, then you would just get these search results. So ultimately, I want to leave with you guys that when people say, is your item trending, et cetera, a trending item isn't just about popularity. It's about being aligned with how people search. The algorithm favors listings that match buyer intent. So if your title and keywords don't fit, you're invisible. So essentially what we want to do is come back and put ourselves in the shoes of the buyer and think to ourselves that, look, if we want the buyer to see what we're selling, and if they were searching for this particular item, what do you think that they would do? The more closely that you could be aligned with the customer's behavior, the more optimized your listing is going to be.
Final takeaways. 1. eBay prioritizes conversions because that's how they make money. A strong user experience drives the entire marketplace. 2. Front-end settings plus back-end performance equals search rankings and visibility. Click-through rates, engagement, conversion history, and metadata all influence where your listing appears. 3. Keyword relevance matters. Your listing must match what people are searching for while working within language constraints. 4. Search results are dynamic and personalized, adapting to each buyer's individual query. Master these principles and you're not just selling on eBay, You're leveraging the system to your advantage. Moving from execution to refinement. Now that you understand the fundamentals of execution, how to optimize your listing for visibility, engagement, and conversion, it's time to take the next step, refinement. The work doesn't stop once your product is live. In fact, that's when the real journey begins. Continuous refinement based on data, feedback, and performance will be the difference between a listing that stagnates and one that thrives. Let's take the principles we've covered here today and apply them to the ongoing process of perfecting your listings. Stay tuned for the next step, mastering the art of refinement.